Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankara-Acharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. ज्ञानानंदमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः। ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। So we were discussing the anubhutehe nityatva upapattih. In this context, we have to talk about how knowledge takes place, or what is anubhava. Anubhava is generally taken as direct knowledge, or when pratyaksha is called anubhava, you can say in another way. But in this, it is not only indriya pratyaksha, but anything else which is directly perceived also is the anubhava, we say, correct? That is the experience, the subjective experience one has is anubhava. But even here, we are to talk about the activity which leads to this experience and the experiencer. Okay, the nature of these things one has to be clear. Here only there are a lot of confusions are there, correct? Or different ways of explaining how knowledge takes place and understanding the nature of Atma itself based on that. Now, the Siddhanta is what? That we say that Atma, which is Jnana Swarupa, can never become a known object. It is always of the nature of the knower. It is the very nature of the knower, we say. Therefore, it can never be objectified. Now, this is clearly said by the Shastra also in so many places. Words like aprameyaha, correct? And also all the Shruti which negates all kinds of uh, guna, kriya, jati. Everything is negated in Atma, correct? So by negating all that, whatever is left out, if you see, is that we have negated all the objects of perception. If you negate all the objects, the status of being subject also gets negated, really speaking, because subject and object are always together. And whatever is left out after that is your very nature, correct? That is what is Atma, but that is existent, but not in space-time. Similarly, it is of the nature of consciousness, even though it may not be knowing anything. Okay. So it is not jada, at least we have to say. It is not jada. And it transcends space, time, and objects and all that. So it is ananta. So this is the crux of the teaching, correct? So in the Vyavahara, the what is that is known really then? If Atma cannot be known as an object, how is it known? All these questions are there. So in this context, I think we saw this sentence last, correct? Vishaya avachinna chaitanyasya eva jnatatvam natu kevalasya iti. So what we say, the Siddhantin, because the Purva Pakshin is saying that you are saying this Brahman is Ajnatam. Brahman means here we have to take Brahmatma, really speaking. The Ajnatam Brahmatma, when it becomes Jnatam, that is the Phalabhuta Jnanam we are saying. That is the Phala also. That is the Phalabhuta Jnanam. And that is Nityam also we are saying. Now, how can this be possible? But you are also defining Swaprakashatvam as Ananya Avabhasyatvam. Is it not contradictory? Because no Brahman becomes known, you are saying. Brahmatma is known means. What do you mean by that known? Then if it becomes known, then it has to be known as an object only is their point. But what we are trying to convey is, in the case of Brahmatma, only the Ajnana is destroyed, but it need not be known as an object after that, because it is Swaprakasha. That's why it is Swaprakasha we are saying. The Ananya Avabhasyatvam we maintain still. Okay. But the Ajnana with reference to oneself is gone. And even Brahman, even if we claim that to be known, etc., it is all only Upadhi Vashat, we have to say. Okay. So whatever is recognized also is only Upahita Chaitanyam alone can be recognized. That's what we are saying. So whatever is known is really Vishaya Avachinna Chaitanya only. The Kevala Chaitanya cannot be known as an object. This is the Siddhanta. And even the quality of being known. Okay, Vishaya Gataha hi saha avabhasyatva dharmaha avachinne brahmani aropitaha we say. So the Brahman which is conditioned on that, this quality of being known is superimposed. This is the Siddhanta. And this sentence, I think, is a printing mistake. So it should actually be Tasmat Karana Bhutam Jnanam Nasya Prakasham. It should be, I think. An Akara is left, I think, because Karana Bhuta Jnanam is the Vritti Jnanam, which we don't accept as Suprakasha. So yesterday, I think we stopped here, and even I was slightly confused reading this. So this should be really only the Jnana Swarupa is Suprakasha for us also, or the Phalabhuta Jnanam is Suprakasha, we have to say. So I think there is a na or something is missed here. Okay. So Karana Bhuta Jnana, whatever they are claiming is Suprakasha, cannot be really Suprakasha. Okay. Once we say this, what the Puru Pakshi is now coming back. Nanu Chaitanyasya Swaprakashatvam Twadukta Vidhamastu. Okay. Let the Swaprakashatvam of Chaitanya be whatever you said. Okay. That we gave two definitions, correct? Astitve Sati Ananya Avabhasyatvam also was the last definition we were discussing. Before that also we gave another definition. Okay. Swa Itara Sarva correct. That which lights up everything else, but itself is cannot be lighted up by anything. Like that we gave a definition. So whatever you say, let it be. But what he is saying now is Karana Jnanasya Swaprakasham tu Vishaya Avabhota Janakatvam eva. Okay. So the Swaprakashatvam of the Karana, because they also talk about a Dharmi Bhuta Jnanam, Dharma Bhuta Jnanam and all that. Okay. The funny thing is, for them both are jnana, really. Okay, we are saying the vritti jnanam is only aupacharika jnana, correct? It is not really jnana. The vritti is called jnana because the chaitanya is manifest there, like saying the iron is hot, correct? That is the analogy we give. Iron doesn't have the swarupa of being hot or anything, but if you heat up the iron can also burn you. Similarly, vritti by itself is jada, but since the jnana is manifest there, or the conditioned jnana is there, it's called vritti jnanam and all that. And because of the operation of the vritti only, the ajnana is destroyed, and then the phalabhuta jnanam is there. So, for us, vritti is jada. But they talk about the dharma bhuta jnana, which is really jnana only for them. And that dharma bhuta jnanam is the one which is suprakasha and all that they are saying. That is because it makes you cognize the object. That is what he is saying here. So, so this is what is their contention. So he is saying Karana Jnanasya Swaprakashatvam tu Vishaya Avabodha Janakatvam. So it has to generate the consciousness of the object of knowledge or the cognition of the object of knowledge, and that in that way it is also revealing itself, is their contention. Okay. And if that is so, Tatacha Nirvishayam Vritti Jnanam Nasti iti, therefore there can never be any Vritti Jnanam which is Nirvishayam, is their contention. Okay, if you say this, if we say, we are asking, Kena Uktam Asti iti, who told you that there is a Vritti Jnana which does not have a Vishaya. Even we are not saying this. That's what Vellangonda is clarifying here. Okay, once we ask who said that, he's saying, you only said this, Nirvikalpakam Jnanam Asti iti, Tvaya Uktam iti. You only told there is a Nirvikalpaka Jnanam. Okay, see, Nirvikalpaka Jnanam does not mean the vritti does not have a Vishaya. That is the important point he is trying to drive here. So, we are saying, if he says that, we are saying Navachya. So, Nacha Nirvikalpaka Jnanam Asti iti, Tvaya Uktam iti Vachyam. Why? Nirvikalpaka Atma Vishaya Jnanasya eva Nirvikalpakatvena Tasyapi Savishayatva. So, what is the Vishaya of that vritti? It is the Nirvikalpaka Atma. That Akhandakara vritti which reveals the Nirvikalpaka Atma by destroying the Atma Jnanam. For that also there is a Vishaya. Okay, but the Vishaya itself is being the Nirvikalpaka Atma, that then we have to say it is Nirvikalpaka Jnanam. Okay, because there is no, in whatever it reveals, there is no Vikalpa is there. So even that is Savishayatva. So he is further explaining that he is saying Tattva-masyadi Vakya-janya Akhandakara Vrityatmakam hi Jnanam Brahmatma Sakshatkara Lakshanam Avabodham Janayati iti Asman Mata Siddhanta. So even what is our Siddhanta? He is saying Tattva-masyadi Vakya-janya Akhandakara Vrityatmakam hi Jnanam. So the Vritti Jnanam, what we talk about, even the Akhandakara Vritti we say, it is born by listening to the Tattva-masyadi Vakya. So the Shruti Pramana Vakya Janya Jnanam only is the Akhandakara Vritti. That is the Vritti Jnanam, even with reference to Brahman when we talk about. And that is the one which reveals Brahman directly to you, correct? Brahma Sakshatkara Lakshanam. So it is characterized by the revelation of Brahman directly. And that is what that in that way it is revealing, correct? Avabodha. And so it generates that cognition. Avabodham janayati iti asman mata siddhantam. That is our siddhanta. Therefore, what? Tasmat nirvishayam vritti jnanameva nasti. Nirvishayam chaitanyam tu asti eva. So what we are saying is nirvishayam vritti jnanam we are not claiming, because vritti has a vishaya. But what it reveals, this Brahmatma is nirvishaya. The nirvishayam chaitanyam is there. Okay. So like this, that is the Siddhanta. So what our discussion is over with this. Now we are starting another, under the same topic, one more discussion is started here with reference to Sushupti again. In fact, the Sushupti thing we have discussed a lot even before. So again, in the context of Anubhava or Anubhava Abhava, Sushupti is discussed here. We discussed this Sushupti a lot in the context of Savikalpaka Jnanam, Nirvikalpaka Jnanam and all that. You remember. So, Yaduktam Ramanujena Suttothitasya Yantam Kalam Na Kinchidaham Avedisham iti Pratyavamarshena Sushuptau Anubhava Bhavaha Siddhaha iti Tattucham. Okay, Ramanuja is claiming that the one who gets up from sleep says that till now I did not know anything while sleeping, correct? So, Yantam Kalam Na Kinchidaham Avedisham. So, I did not know anything till now. This recognition, correct? This recollection. Pratyavamarshena. Pratyavamarsha means Pratyabhijna. The Pratyabhijna is the word we use. It's the same meaning. Avamarshana also. So what does it? So Sushuptav Anubhava Abhava. So it shows you that there was no Anubhava in Sushupti. The absence of Anubhava only is shown by this recollection, this claim. So he's saying Tattucham, that's not true. Why? Kim Suttav na Kinchid Viditavataha eva Sutti Apagame Darshita Pratyaya Darshita Pratyavamarshah Sambhavati Yadva Kinchid Viditavata. Okay. See, I think one should be Kinchid Aviditavata. Here again there is a spelling mistake. Okay, what we are asking is, in sleep, did you know anything and then get up and then recollect? Or you did not know anything or did not cognize anything, and then you got up and you recollected. Okay. Now the adye na kinchid vedana rupaha anubhavaha siddhaha eva. So na kinchana kinchid vedana rupaha means what we are saying, if you accept that there was a cognition and then you are recollecting that, what is that cognition? Yes, that cognition is that I did not know anything itself is a cognition, we are saying, correct? So there has to be an anubhava of not knowing anything. So that anubhava siddha is there, then how can you say there is no anubhava, correct? Na kinchit vedana rupaha anubhavaha siddhaha eva, we are saying. So not knowing anything in that form, there is anubhava. Now if you say no, there was nothing, you did not know anything, but still you are recollecting, that is also not possible, correct? Vidya paramarshasya eva asiddhihi darshitasya. So the paramarsha itself is not there in the second case. Okay, it cannot be established because if you have not cognized anything, how can you recollect that? That which is not experienced cannot be recollected. So this is what we are saying. So once we say this, what even here this avagraha is not very clear, or whatever the this it should be paramarsha eva asiddhi. Okay, this there is a this thing is there. It's not printed very clearly. Anyway, okay. Then what? Nacha na kinchit vedanam nama kinchidapi avedanam yasya kasyapi vedana abhavaha ityarthaha तथा च सुद्धौ ज्ञान अभावः एव इति वाच्यम्. Okay. Now what they are saying, na kinchana vedanam nama kinchidapi avedanam yasya kasyapi vedana abhavaha ityarthaha. So what he is saying is, whatever we say as not knowing anything is really the non-experience of anything. Okay. So yasya kasyapi vedana abhavaha only is called as kinchidapi avedanam. That is their contention. So when you say I did not know anything, really it only means that I did not experience anything. There was no, or it is the absence of the experience they are claiming. Not that I experienced not knowing anything. When we say I experienced not knowing anything, then the anubhava siddhi is there. But they are saying no, that is not the thing. It only points to the absence of any experience. The absence of any experience only, you are saying, you are calling it as, in the language, you are calling it as not knowing anything, but it is not the experience of not knowing anything. It is the absence of knowing. Okay, like this you have to put it. Therefore, in Sushupti, Jnana Abhava only is there, or Anubhava Abhava is there. Like this, if you say, you cannot say that. Na vacham. Why? Kim Sauptikasya Jnana Abhavaha Tvaya Viditaha Uta Aviditaha. Because we asked, this Jnana Abhava you are talking, did you know it or you did not know it again? See, even Abhava is Jnanam. If you say part Abhava, then there is a Pratiyogi, Anuyogi, etc. is there. Whenever we talk about Abhava, that's why we even talk about Anupalabdhi Pramana. I think Vishishtadvaitins accept only three Pramanas, Pratyaksha, Anumana and Shabda. So I think the Arthapati and Upamana and all, they roll it up into Anumana itself, and I think Anupalabdhi is part of Pratyaksha for them. So anyway, so we are saying this Abhava also has to be known. So did you know this Jnana Abhava, or you did not know it while sleeping? So if you say I knew the Abhava, Adye Jnana Abhava, Jnana Rupaha, Anubhavaha, Siddhaha eva. So if you accept that I knew means it's Abhava, then the Jnana Abhava, Jnana Rupaha, Anubhavaha is there. You cannot deny that. The experience in the form of absence of knowledge is there. In the second case, if you say I did not even know that, so Vidya Tvaya Aviditasya Jnana Abhavasya Katam Abhibhagamaha. So whatever you did not know, how can we accept that? Then you have to accept Shashashringa, etc. Correct? So Anyata Shashashringa Dehe Api Abhibhagamaha Prasadyeta. So it will be it will come to a situation where you have to accept that even hairs on horn is there. So therefore, what tasmat suttau vishesha anubhava abhavaha eva. So what do we say is what? In Sushupti, specific knowledge is lacking. Okay, knowing a specific object, etc. Correct? Vishesha anubhavaha is not there, but samanya anubhavaha has to be there. Correct? Therefore, he is saying samanya anubhava abhavastu na shakyate vaktu. So you cannot say even the samanya anubhava, this general knowledge that I did not know anything, I did not experience anything, that anubhava you have to accept. You cannot say it is not there. Okay. Once we say this, what? Then then they are talking now. They go back to their Siddhanta now. No, there is. Okay, we accept that there is a Dharmi, Bhuta, Samvid or Chaitanya. Means they also say Atma, Brahman or Ishvara. All these entities have actually Chaitanya, but they call it Dharmi, Bhuta, Chaitanya. But the Dharma, Bhuta, Chaitanya only they talk about Saprakashatvam and all that. So they talk about two jnana. Both are real for them. Understand that. It's not that the Dharmi Bhuta Jnanam is avachinna in some upadhi, and so you call it Dharma Bhuta Jnanam. It's not like that. So, but I don't know how they can even define two jnana like that. And what is the difference between the two and all? That's what now the discussion is going to go into. It's very difficult to establish that. And there is no Shruti Pramana also for all these things. So now he is saying Suttav Samvid Asti. So we also accept that there is Samvid consciousness in sleep now, finally. But what he is saying is Nirashraya Samvidtu Nasti. But there is no Samvid without an Ashraya. That Ashraya is Atma, according to them. Okay. So there is no Samvid without it being in a substance. Okay. It has to be always in some substance, according to them. Correct? Sarvasyapi Samvidaha Sashrayatvat Atmashraya hi Samvit. So he is saying, so even in Sushupti, Samvit cannot be there by itself. It has to have an Ashraya or a locus. And always the Samvit is there in some entity or some locus, correct? And that is the Atma Ashraya, then we have to say. So the Chaitanya is there in Atma. Like this also you cannot say. For them now this is like this Chaitanya becomes a guna. So in fact they say that Chit and Jada also are guna of Narayana and all that. But even that you cannot say, na vachyam. Why? Atmanaha Nishkriyatvena Akartritvat Samvidascha Phalatvena Phalatvena Akriyatvat Atmanaha eva Samvidrupatvat Samvidaha eva Sarvashrayatvena Nirashrayatvat Sashraya Samvid Nasti eva. So now what we are saying? We are saying the other way around. There is no Sashraya Samvid. Samvid is the Ashraya, Sarva Ashraya. Fact. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahma Lakshanam is Jnanam. And that Jnanam is not really a Jnana Kriya. That's why Bhashyakara also writes it as Jnapti. It is Jnapti Swarupa. It is of the very nature of knowing. Okay. So, what we are saying? So, we are saying Atma is Nishkriya. Because that is revealed by the Shruti also. Atmana Nishkriyatva. Akartritva, it cannot be a Karta. And Samvid also, even the cognition which you are talking about, it is the result of some jnana kriya also, let us say, but that resulting consciousness or cognition, awareness, is not something produced. It is ajanya. Okay, whatever we are calling as the phalabhuta jnanam, the awareness which comes by cognizing any object also, that is ajanyam, and therefore that samvid is also, it's phalabhuta. That's what it is said here. Phaladvena, and it is not a kriya, really. We are not talking about the kriya which is happening there. The result of the jnana kriya, whatever is there, is the jnanam we are talking about. That is the phalabhuta jnanam, and that is also ajanyam. And therefore, what? And that ajanyam jnanam is really atma swarupa. That is what we are saying. Atmanaha eva samvid rupatva. And therefore, samvid alone is the sarvashraya. Jnana swarupa atma, chidatma is the ashraya for everything. Because you cannot establish anything without consciousness being there. Correct? Therefore, what? Nirashrayatvat sashraya samvid nasti. So we are arriving at a completely opposite conclusion, that there cannot be any samvid which has another ashraya or anything like that. Samvid is nirashraya and it is the sarvashraya. Okay, this is the Siddhanta. So once we say this, what? We are saying Nacha anubhavituhu atmanaha eva katham anubhava rupatvam iti vachyam. So he is saying anubhavituhu atmanaha eva katham anubhava rupatvam. See, Atma is the experiencer. If Atma is the experiencer, how can Atma be of the nature of experience? Okay, this is not possible. This is their contention. If you say this you cannot say. Why? Jnana swarupatvam atmanaha abhyupagatavata bhavata na evam bodaniyam iti. So now we are pointing out, see, you have also accepted jnana swarupatvam for Atma. They also say Atma is dharmi bhuta jnanam is there for Atma. And even for Ishvara, for Narayana. So, jnana swarupatvam you have accepted. Having accepted that, you cannot now come and say something like this. Okay, Atma is always a karta, and therefore anubhava rupatvam cannot be there. Okay, once we say this, what? Nacha jnana swarupam api atmanam ashritya yad vartate dravyam jnanam tadeva anubhavaha natu atma iti vachyam. So they are saying these are all slightly very confusing. Okay, it's difficult to make sense of this. Anyway, what he is saying is jnana swarupam api atmanam ashritya yad vartate, he is saying. Even though we say it is dharmi bhuta jnanam, it is still some kind of a dharma only. Because he is saying it is still ashritya vartate, he is saying. That means what? This swarupa jnanam also is there in a locus, which is still somehow they are talking about that locus independently of the swarupa jnana which is there. Okay, how it is possible, I am not able to understand really. So jnana swarupam api atmanam ashritya yad vartate dravyam jnanam, they are calling it dravyam jnanam. Jnanam is dharma also, dharma bhuta jnanam also, but it is also called dravya jnanam. It is both a quality and a substance, jnana itself. And that jnana, the substance jnanam is what is called anubhava, but that is not Atma, he is saying. There is something called a dravya jnana, which is other than Atma, and it is located in the Atma. Atma is the locus for this dravya jnana, and that dravya jnana is anubhava, but it is not Atma Swarupa. How can you say all these things? This is all kalpana, kapola kalpitam. There is no Shruti Pramana also for this. Anyway, so once you say, you cannot say this, na vachya. Why? Atmanaha jnanam swarupam jnanam. Okay. So Atmana, whatever the jnanam of Atma we are talking about is really swarupa jnanam only. It is like Raho Shiravat. Correct? That's what we say. Rahu itself is head only. Even though sometimes in language we may use the linguistic usage is there. Rahu's head. That doesn't mean anything. Correct? So this Atmana, whatever jnanam of Atma you talk about also can be only Swarupa jnanam. Tu Atma na iti vakyasya vyahatatvat. So If you say this, whatever this jnana of Atma is not Swarupa jnana, then it is really contradictory. So, Atmana Swarupa Bhutayanaiva Jnanena Sarva Siddhau Tat Ashrita Jnana Dravya Kalpanasya Nishprayojanatvat Gaurava Avahat Gaurava Avahatvat Pramana Shunyatvat. Okay, so now you are proposing a Jnana Dravya which is there Ashrita in the Atma, correct? So Atma becomes the Ashraya of the Jnana Dravya. This is what you are talking. And you are saying it is that Jnana is not Atma Swarupa. That itself is actually contradictory. Why? Because this Atma has to be accepted as Jnana Swarupa. And through that Jnana only everything is established. To that only everything becomes evident, correct? This Jnana Swarupa Jnana only lights up everything. And because of that self-existing, self-revealing consciousness only, everything else is existence itself is established. So Sarva Siddhau Jnanena. And here to now imagine a Jnana Dravya other than the Atma, okay, this Kalpana is useless. It is not required. In fact, okay, Kalpana Adhikyam. In fact, Bhashyakara in Brihadaranyaka, even for Apurva, correct, this Purva Mimamsakas propose one Apurva, which is actually a Kalpana, he says. It is Kalpana Adhikyam. There is no need of proposing all this Apurva, etc. Ishvara, because they don't accept an Ishvara. Understand that. So the Apurva itself is created whenever you do a karma, and that Apurva will come later on and give you the karma phala is their Siddhanta. So by proposing an Apurva, they say that there is no need of any Ishvara also. So in that context, he negates them. I think it is there in the third chapter, 8th or 9th Brahmana. It's a beautiful Bhashya is there. So there he actually negates this Kalpana. He uses a principle to negate that, calling it is Kalpana Adhikyam. This is what in English it is called Akkam's razor and all that, correct? It's really Shankara's razor. The Shankara predates Akkam, the guy who used that. So because the principle is whatever you can explain with fewer entities and in a simple manner, you need not propose some complicated thing. So in general, if there are two ways of explaining, we accept the simple explanation as the truth. Okay, this is the principle we are saying. So this Kalpana Adhikyam is a problem. It is your own Kalpana. It is not useful also. Nishprayojanatva. And it is Gaurava, means it is making it complicated. Correct? Gaurava Avahatva. And there is no Pramana for the base. There is no Pramana. There is no Shruti Pramana to say this. Therefore, what? Yadi Jnanepi Jnanantaram Syat Tarhi Tasminnapi Jnanantarantaram Syaditi Anavastha Doshacha, and you will have Anavastha. Because you say there is a Dharmi Bhuta Jnanam, there is a Dharma Bhuta Jnanam also. Then this Dharmi Bhuta Jnanam, what it is means you are still saying it is a Jnana Dravya which is there in the Atma and all that. But then that Atma again you claim is Jnana Swarupa, etc. means it is all a problem. Again and again it will, even to claim that Atma, whether it is Jnana Swarupa or not. And where does this Dharmi Bhuta Jnanam or Dravya Jnanam exist, or where does the Dharma Jnanam exist and all that also you cannot establish. We have already seen that. Even the Visheshana exists in a Savishesha Vastu or Nirvishesha Vastu. This analysis we have already done. If you go into that, you will end up in all sorts of problems. So it can also lead to Anavastha here, infinite regress. Therefore, what kincha tava mate kim atma dravya bhutana. So we are asking, in your mata, atma is a dravya or not? So if you say atma is a dravya, it is a substance, correct? Adye katham jnana rupa dravyasya atmanaha jnana rupa dravyavatvam. So you say that atma itself is jnana rupa dravya. but it is also having a jnana dravya, which is ashrita in Atma, correct? So jnana rupa dravya bhatvam also is there. It is having a jnana rupa dravya. Means it is the ashraya for a jnana rupa dravya, like that if you say, then we, how it doesn't make any sense, correct? So if the Atma itself cannot be then dravya and also have a dravya in it. Being a dravya, it cannot have dravya vatvam. Okay. So यदि ज्ञानद्रव्यमपि ज्ञानद्रव्यवत् स्यात् तर्हि तदपि ज्ञानद्रव्यं ज्ञानद्रव्यवत् किमिति न स्यात् तदपि तृतीयं ज्ञानद्रव्यवत्वं किमिति न स्यात् इति अनवस्थादोषः. So if you say that dravya itself is a dravyavat, so jnanadravyam is jnanadravyavath, then he is showing that it will again lead to the other jnanadravyam, what it is we have to ask. If you keep on asking this again, this question, it will go into infinite regress, anavastha doshaha will come. And if you say Atma is not a dravya, dvitiye tavamate sagunatvena atmanaha katam addravyatvam, but you do not accept any nirguna vastu at all. And generally, how do we define a dravya? Dravya is that which has guna, kriya, etc. is the dravya, correct substance. So, but you do not accept any guna. So, you do not accept any vastu without guna. So, you claim Atma is not a dravya, but it is having guna. That is not possible. So, sagunatvena tavamate atmanaha katam adravyatam. So, your Atma cannot be an adravya because you are saying it is saguna. Because in general, what is the uh, accepted view? It is that gunavatvam hi dravyatvam. So, we say dravyatvam is what? That which has gunas is the dravya. That which has qualities is a substance. So, then you cannot say Atma is not a substance. Okay, once we say nacha dravyatva jati matvam dravyatvam iti vachyam, the other thing now they are saying is no, it belongs to the dravya jati. And that is what is called dravyatvam. That also you cannot say. Why? Samsthana atirikta jatya anabhyubhagamattava. So they also talk about a samsthana. Okay, avayava sannivesha visheshaha, like that and all they say. See, avayava means parts. Sannivesha means you arrange the parts in a particular way, correct? A structure or a form is what they call samsthana. And if that structure or form is there in more than one individual, that is the jati they are saying. So the samsthana only is the jati when it is appearing in more than one individual instance. So you don't accept any, this jati itself is only a form or a structure for you. It is only an akara. So how can you say that this jati matvam is dravyatva? That is not correct. Samsthana atirikta jati anapyupakama. You don't accept any jati other than this samsthana, which is and jati itself is only a akara vishesha or avayava vishesha, which is in the form of an akara. So it is in the form of a structure or a form which is found in more than one instance is what how you define. So according to your definition, this dravyatva jati and all you cannot really have. And therefore what? Nacha samsthanavatvam dravyatvam iti vachyam. Or they are saying, no, that which has samsthana is dravya. Okay. Already, gently gunavatvam hi dravyatvam he said first, but now he is saying samsthanavatvam dravyatvam. Even if you say that what, there is a problem. Atmani kasyachit samsthana visheshasya adarshana. Nobody has seen any form or structure or anything in Atma. Okay. You cannot establish this samsthanavatvam in the Atma to call it a dravya. So therefore, anyway, you cannot say this Atma is a dravya. And also, nacha dravyavan, dravya bhinnaha eva Atma astu iti vachyam. So, so let Atma not be dravya, but it is the one which has dravya. Okay, dravyavan. And is other than dravya. Let it be like that. Why can't I say that? So it has this jnana dravya. It is the dravyavan. and it is other than the Jnana Dravya. That is Atma. Why can't I say that? Even that you cannot say. Na Vachyam. Why? Yadeva Atma Atma Shritatvena Bhavat Abhimata Dravyasya Swarupam Tadeva Atmanaha Api Swarupa Veda Bhavena Atmanaha Nama Jnana Dravya Bhinnatva Yoga. So what we are pointing out finally is, see, the Atma has is an Ashraya, and in that, what is Ashrita? What is located? So Atma is a locus. In that, you say this Jnana Dravya is located. Okay. So this Jnana Dravya has the Swarupa of Jnana. But somehow you are saying this, but Atma is different from that. But what is the Swarupa of the Atma then? You cannot establish that it is not Jnana. Okay. So whatever Swarupa you have given for the Jnana Dravya, that alone you can give for Atma also, because there is no way you are able to establish some different Swarupa of the Atma. For that there is no Pramana. We have already shown that. Therefore, whatever separate Atma as a Ashraya you are proposing, and in which the Jnana Dravya is Ashrita, that Atma Swarupa is not different from the Jnana Dravya itself, whatever you are saying. It is not tenable to propose an Atma which is separate from the Jnana Dravya. Therefore, whatever we say, Atma is Jnana Swarupa alone makes sense. If you propose like this, it leads to all kinds of logical problem. Okay, once we say this, what Bhavatu Anubhava eva Atma. So let Atma be Anubhava. Okay, leave it. Tatapi Suktau Atmanaha Anyat Nasti Yat Kimapi Jnanam Iti Che. So now I am saying, let Atma be Anubhava. But other than this Atma, there is nothing else. There is no other Jnanam in Sushupti. Even if you say this, it is not like that. Okay, iti chet maya. Why? Darshita paramarsha baladeva atmanaha asti ajnana jnanamiti. So whatever we already showed you, that when I get up, I recollect that I did not know anything. That I did not know anything, correct? Na kinchidapi avedisham. I did not know anything. Recollection shows that I had the knowledge of ajnana, correct? Ignorance is known. Ajnana jnanam is there. So you cannot say yat kimapi jnanam nasti. Ajnana jnana is there. Not only that, sukha jnanam also is there. Correct? Evam sukham aham asapsam iti paramarshabala sukha jnanam api iti. I slept very well. I did not know anything. If you say I slept very well, means I enjoyed that sleep. Correct? Sukham also you are recollecting. By that paramarsha recollection only, sukha jnanam also must have been there. Therefore, what tasmat सुप्तौ चैतन्यस्य वृत्तिज्ञानस्य वा न अभावः साधयितुं शक्यते इति. So in sleep, neither Chaitanya you can say it is not there, nor Vrittignana is not there. Both of these things we cannot establish, because we can by Arthapatti, after getting up, since we have this recollection, Arthapatya we have to because it is Anyatha Anubhuti. Otherwise it is not possible. Correct? The recollection is not possible otherwise. Otherwise is what? That there has to have been some abhava, this ajnana jnanam and sukha jnanam also is there. That's why we say even in samadhi and sushupti also we say there is a shanta vritti is there. But that vritti is not manovritti, because mind has already resolved, correct, to karana avastha. So that's why we say it is ajnana vritti. In sushupti, whatever is there is ajnana vritti. It is not antakarana vritti. That is the important point. So, in fact, that is what is coming up now. Now, once we say this, that there is vritti, you have to accept vritti jnana in sushupti also. This guy comes back, he says, Nanu, Suttau antakarana bhavat, Vishaya bhavat cha, Vishayakara parinata antakarana vritti jnanasya katam sabbhavaha iti chet ma evam. So, he is saying in sushupti, there is no antakarana itself, it has resolved. And there is no Vishaya also. So if there is no Vishaya and there is no Antakarana, there cannot be any Antakarana Vritti also. So if Antakarana Vritti itself is not there, because we all accept that the Antakarana only modifies or attains a state in the form of the Vishaya, that is what is called Antakarana Vritti. Therefore, there cannot be any Vritti. So how can there be any Vritti in sleep? Means it's not like that. Why? We say Sukhadi Vishaya Sattvat Tadakara Parinata Avidya Vritti Sattvat Chaiti. So what we are saying is, yes, we accept there is no Antakarana Vritti, but since you are getting up and recollecting Sukha and Ajnana, we say that there is Avidya Vritti is there. Okay. Avidya Vritti Sattvat Chaiti. Okay. So once we say this, what now again they are going to Savishesha, Nirvishesha and all that. So nacha evam suttau api jnanam savisheshameva iti katam nirvishesha jnana siddhi iti vachyam. So if we say that there is ajnana vritti or avidya vritti in sushupti, then what happens? He is saying even in sleep, suttau api jnanam savishesha, jnana will become savishesha even then. But you people are talking about nirvikalpaka jnanam or nirvishesha jnanam and all that. All jnanam is only savishesha. Correct? So you are talking about nirvishesha jnana and its establishment is not possible. Like that, if you say that also you can't say. Why? Suttau savishayasya eva jnanasya siddhihi na savisheshasya iti. So we differentiate between savishesha jnanam and savishaya jnana. Okay. So in Sushupti, Vishaya is there in the form of avidya and Chaitanyam is there. Okay. But that doesn't mean there cannot be any Savishesha Jnana. Savishaya Jnanam is there. Savishaya Jnanam means Jnanam is there along with Vishaya. That is what we say in Sushupti. But what it reveals is that Atma is Nirvishesha. That is why it is the Nirvishesha Jnana. Okay. So we'll continue this in the next class. Very interesting discussion. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.